The table object can have multiple columns of different types, each of which is an object inside the main table. When a new table is placed onto a page, it will contain by default 2 text input columns. To select the table, click anywhere inside the object except in the header of an individual column. You know the table object is selected if you can see the table properties in the right-hand panel. Double-click the Table Properties panel column to select an individual column, or click on that column's header in the table object. You will see that the right-hand Properties panel will then show the properties for that column. In the main table properties, you can add more columns, but use the adjacent drop-down to select the type of column you want to add before clicking the Add button. Once added, that column's properties will automatically be selected. Back in the main table properties, you can modify an existing column type by clicking in the type area for that column and selecting a different type. Note that the text area column is the equivalent of the multi-line text input object. Adjust the column order by using the up and down arrows. If you want to fit the columns evenly into the table object, use the Fit Columns Evenly button. There are several other options also available in the table object properties. These include the option to show or not show a header, change the header size, show the buttons under the table, and allow the user to resize the columns in runtime mode. You may also specify the height of each row and the maximum number of rows a user can add to the table. The buttons under the table would add or delete rows manually, but this can also be achieved dynamically using behaviors, so removing the buttons can sometimes be a helpful option. There is also a footer option, not selected by default. Still, if selected, it does add a footer field at the bottom of the table that can display the sum or average of the data in any numeric input column. More about that in a short while. Let's now turn to the individual column settings and be aware that different column types will have other properties, but we can look at some of the common ones now. Remember, to select a column, you can click on the column header in the table. Most of the column properties are the same as those for the corresponding non-table related objects, and as always, we strongly recommend that you include a proper name for each column. You will also see the column width property here too. You should set the width of the column based on the expected data being input, but also with consideration to the width of the table object and the other columns. Be aware that there will often be a discrepancy between the width of the table object and the combined width of the individual columns, and in such cases the right-hand column is increased or decreased to make up the difference. Also be aware that a table may have many more rows than can physically be displayed. In such cases, a vertical scroll bar will appear on the table's right-hand edge, reducing the right-hand column width accordingly. In the numeric input column specifically, you will find the footer row property, which allows you to select whether to display the sum or average of the column. Although behavior is outside the scope of this tutorial, please be aware that the table object has several behavior events available to use, as does each column.